Well, here we are one more time. Radio entrepreneurs constantly streaming stories of entrepreneurship, leadership, economy. And we hope all of you out there are entrepreneurial junkies like I am. I've spent my career being an entrepreneurial junkie. I love it. I love the creativity, the uniqueness of every business. And, we like to check in. I'd like to check in more often, but, he's elusive, this guy. Phil Sharkey, president and owner of the Hire Authority for Sheriff Sharkey and the Sharkey Report. Welcome back, Phil. Sorry you missed me for a while, but you're always, as you know, because I text you, you're always in my heart.
Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate the great intro. And, it's the highlight of my day, my week, my month when we get to do our little chats here. And I thought I'd take us a little bit in a different direction. I always talk about screening and what to look out for and what happens. What I'm going to talk today, Jeff, is a little bit different for you. What I prepared is what happens after the fact. When I do my job, I come on board for you or one of the entrepreneurs or someone in a hiring situation, and something goes wrong. Like I do see, as we said, this year, it's about 40% of the backgrounds turn out fraudulent. And what happens then when my client finds out something in my background check that they're not happy with and they don't want to hire this person? So, of course, there's a process in place. Everything is here to assist our clients as well as the individual. The first thing is the FCRA oversees my whole industry. That's the Fair Credit Reporting Act. The word credit is in there, but Jeff, it stands for any type of background check. If I did a criminal check for you or a driving record check for the radio entrepreneurs on a hire, it falls under this FCRA Act. And the law says that when a report is completed and the client makes a decision, the applicant has the total right to a copy of that background report. Actually, everyone is entitled to a copy. The big word is entitled. I tell my clients, don't give the background report to everyone I screen for you. So I have some clients hire 100 people a year. If you give all these people the background report, they're going to generate 1 million of questions and drive you crazy. So they're entitled to a copy of the report, but you don't have to give them the report unless they ask for it. Or in this situation we're going to talk about where something occurred in the background check and they're not going to hire them. They get what's called an adverse action letter. And just to read from you shortly, it says something to the effect of, you've applied for this position. Our decision may have been influenced by information that was contained in the Consumer Investigative Report background screen. That's where we come in, which was authorized by you in writing. Please note the Hire Authority does not advise its clients regarding the qualifications of an applicant, has no part in the decision-making process, and has no interest whether or not the applicant is hired or considered for employment. So they get this letter, goes on a little bit further, advising them of their rights and a copy of the background report. So, Jeff, they're well informed. In today's world where people want to know everything, they get their full background and they'll see the part where might have cost them their position. What usually comes up is they falsified their education. Criminal record is not what they talked about. I had an example where a woman said she had a bank problem. It turned out she was involved in a bank robbery. So a little bit different there. It could be something in the sex offender search or their employment history or their driving record history. They have a chance to contest it. We don't send them the background report. Our client owns the report, but I am here and every month I talk to someone regarding their background and I'll go over it. And it's very specific. And what I want to do is deflect the anger at me. They usually call very angry at first. And I graduated from Stonehill. What are you saying? What are you doing? And I become their advocate and tell them, listen, if I paid 50, 60, 70, 80,000 a year and they're not saying I graduated, I'd be quite angry with it too. So let's work together here, Jeff. We checked by name, social, date of birth. They have you going for 2 years. So I work with them. I show them who we spoke to. You need to call the registrar's office. You need to find out why they're saying you had 2 years of enrollment and not a graduation. They quickly calm down and realize the gig is up, so to speak. So.
I do the opposite. My elementary school last year had me do the graduation speech.
Excellent.
And I got up and I said, I'm not sure I graduated.
You're a rare bird because everybody today, that's usually our biggest area. The people that, like I steal a Belichick line, do the work, but they want to make the claims. They want to get out with a degree and be the CFO of a company without having the credentials.
Well, I'm going to blame leaders for being lazy because they're not focusing on stuff and they trust their staff too much. I think you're drowning in a society of lies. And people need to step up and be responsible to their organizations, because we know through politics, fact checking happens after every speech. Democrat, Republican, doesn't make a difference. We find so many errors in everything. I don't know how you can validate God being on the side of a politician. They all pick God. What are you going to do? Call God and say, "Excuse me, did you really pick so and so?" I don't know what we can do when we have a society that has so much, this false information out there. But leaders of organizations, this is a grassroots country. If we want to change it starting in your own organization. Hire someone like you. Even I do stuff like that. I've tried to validate stuff with my clients, but we need to get back to a factual, statistically based world where we're making decisions based on real information. We don't want false financials. We don't want false legal information. We don't want false resumes. We want actual real data if you want to run your organization properly. And it starts with the leaders of the majority of companies in America are owned by families. Right. And it starts with these families running their companies properly. Sorry.
It's so true, Jeff. And I just had this argument or discussion the other day where I had a client was almost throwing their hands up saying, well, what do I do? It might as well not do anything. I'm like, you can't give up. We have to keep fighting as a society and as a business. And like you said, many of my clients are family owned and they go outside that circle. They initially have their friends and their family and someone who's recommended. Then they get to that third tier, someone they know nothing about, and you just can't go on a handshake. And it's not people that smell like booze or look all disheveled. They come in just like you and I, shake your hand and say, "Hi, Jeff, nice to meet you. I'm Lion."
I spent 5 hours yesterday with an ex-client, someone I respect a lot. We talked about someone being hired in another organization. I'll keep it benign. And I said, that person has been a career mess, right. Never produced. And I went, I don't know how that person got that job. Every job they've done, they've never produced that. And I can't believe that a large organization didn't really do a proper fact and background check on that person. It's a resume built on failures.
It's so true. And I know it's the accepted way today from our leaders, trickling right on down to the local companies. But the branding is immense. And when it does happen, when the poop hits the fan and you get called out, it's going to be extremely destructive. So again, our reports are completed in 2 to 3 business days. You're not going to lose any time. It's information which gives you the choice to make the best decision available. And when you have to call someone on it, you're no longer the bad guy, Jeff. It's us here at the higher authority say, well, they're the ones that said this criminal record is a convictions. They're the one who said you didn't graduate. So it sort of takes that umph off of the attack on you. And we'd love to bring you on board, Jeff, but unfortunately, I just found out you're a big fat liar. So when I'm saying that, they can look to the screening company and we're the bad guys in that regard.
Well, before you go, I've done it a lot privately. Resume or no resume, you have a true Broadway talent in your home. And that's a fact, Jack. And if someone else is looking for facts and they need you, Phil, because I said we're drowning in a corporate world of lies, how do they find you?
Very simple. Right on the web, it's hireauth.com. It's our company name shortened, HIREAUTH.com. You can call the line toll free at 888-230-5901. You actually get through to a person and you can talk to a human. It can't be any easier. You can sign up immediately in 3 business days. We'll have a background check conducted for you. And also just quickly for the applicants who push back, I always say be your own advocate. We often work for them and do a background check on an individual to find out what is showing up in their past that might be keeping them from employment. So no problem working for the clients or the applicant. No trouble here at all.
Oh, that's good to know. And I think it's very important in this world today. Contact Phil. Let's get ourselves back into a honest, credible group, statistically based in fact. It would be nice. Phil, I don't think we should be seeing you less. I think your message is more important than ever because we are drowning in misinformation. I think you should be doing 4 or 5 of these a week and getting the message out. So thank you. And we look forward to seeing you again next week on Radio Entrepreneurs.